Hello, welcome to the Self-Learning Podcast by Dr. Sushma Singh. Let us start discussion on Unit 25 Field Research, and our topic is Oral History. Most contemporary social scientists make use of written and oral sources for documentation and substantiation in social research. Diaries, letters, written documents, personal papers, autobiographies, and biographies, archival material, and today even films, advertisements, news, fiction, creative art forms like dance, music, and paintings, etc., are used as text. The later forms of texts are constructed by field workers based on often first-hand information collected in field research by interviewers, asking people to write down about themselves or collecting life histories. Anthropologists have long adopted this method of elicitation, especially in societies where no written records existed. Oral histories are less focused on whole life and more focused on a topic or a part of a life. Besides contributing significantly to historical data previously collected, this method can be used to give voice to minority groups, to pay attention to the minds of great individuals, or to permit inclusion of usually silenced groups in a population like Dalits, women, tribals, and disabled, etc. And it has been even used as a form of therapy. Historians today are making use of oral histories to supplement historical understandings. Feminists especially insisted on using oral histories of the women to recast histories. Subaltern school historians have used their methods in reconstructing histories of peasant movement and protests. Now let us move to the next point, PRA and RRA techniques. Organizations which adhere to participatory paradigm, very often NGOs, have developed a number of techniques for effective interaction with communities. Two of them are Rapid Rural Appraisal (RRA) and Participatory Rural Appraisal (PRA). PRA and RRA were developed in response to disappointments and criticisms of the assumptions upon which earlier developmental work was based. RRA and PRA are two closely related families of approaches. They emphasize a reorientation in the relationship between the outsider and subjects of developmental activities and research. Thus, a reciprocal learning process in the relationship has replaced the one-way transfer of know-how idea. The term PRA describes a growing family of approaches and methods to enable local people to share, enhance, and analyze their knowledge of life and conditions to plan and to act. PRA flows from the O's much to the activist. Participatory research, agro-ecosystem analysis, applied anthropology, field research on farming systems, and rapid rural appraisal in RRA, information is more elicited and extracted by outsiders. In PRA, it is more shared and owned by local people. The one most important principle is use your own best judgment at all times, which implies improvisation. The distinction between RRA and PRA has been described by Robert Chambers. RRA leads to learning by outsiders in a cost-effective way. PRA, on the other hand, enables rural people to unravel and analyze their own situation in ways they do not normally do, and in optimal cases to plan and act on their own premises. Both RRA and PRA have been referred to as data economizing or data optimizing approaches. The experience gained with RRA during the first years of application in 1980s showed that it was susceptible to criticism that it has leveled at quick and dirty development, work and development tourism. Participatory assessment and activities are methods for creating a dialogue and for collecting information. They are characterized by ingenuity and flexibility, and the methods to be applied depend on the specific context. PRA techniques have proved to be of much use in diagnosing specific problems and highlighting possible solutions. Here is a catalogue of selected PRA methods, techniques, and tools. These are review of secondary sources, direct observation, key indicators, semi-structured interview, ranking and scoring, construction and analysis of maps, models, and diagramming, case studies and stories, drama, games, and role play, possible future workshops, triangulation, continuous analysis and reporting, participatory planning, budgeting, monitoring, evaluation, and self-surveys, and do it yourself. A PRA technique essentially complements more formal methods. More often than not, these techniques are primarily exercises. They generally serve the purpose of dialogue with the people, information generation, analysis in some cases, and mobilization of people around certain issues like land rights, water, public distribution system, etc. Since the NGOs involve multidisciplinary teams, the PRA exercises take a multidisciplinary perspective. The practitioners themselves have recognized three major dangers, weaknesses, and challenges of using PRA. These are rate of spread, practitioner aptitude, and backsliding. The speed of spread must not exceed the capacity for individual institutions to conduct social and organizational experiments to discover what is most appropriate for them. The practitioner's personal attitudes are difficult to control. The problem of not reaching all interest groups persists, especially among women, the landless, ethnic minorities, the poorest, etc. High-level planning targets disrupt bottom-up demands and desires. PRA does not produce the final answers. It is a process that contributes to a better understanding of the situation. Now let us conclude the unit. This unit discussed some of the common methods which sociologists or anthropologists use during their field researches. You may need to use one or the other of these methods in your mini research projects. Our suggestion is that you need to include in discussion of methodology of your project report and methods you have used, and also provide the reasons why you have opted to use the same. Do select from some further readings and read more about the methods you decide to use. Now let us wind up the session, and we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you very much for engaging yourself with a self-learning podcast.